Hello and welcome to the Small World Music Office. I'm Alan Davis, once again for an artist spotlight. Welcome to all of you who are watching and participating, and I hope you're enjoying Global Toronto Day 4, I guess, isn't it? Day 4, my God. What an amazing event it's been so far. A couple of days left and a couple of great artist spotlights to do. Right now we are focusing on JAFFA Road, and JAFFA Road is a musical concept that resides at the crossroads of traditional Jewish melodies and jazz, Arabic, Indian, funk, and blues. They've been creating some wonderful sounds for a number of years now. We're joined by two members, Aaron Lightstone and Tamar Ilana. They are a two-time Juno nominee and a Canadian Folk Music Award winner, and a group that Errol Nazareth from CBC called a highly textured cinematic fusion of Arabic, Indian, jazz, blues, electronica, and rock. That's a hell of a lot to pack into one thing, so they must be doing something right. They are equally at home on festival stages, performing arts centers, and jazz clubs. Their travels have taken them to some of the largest festivals in Canada, such as the Vancouver Music Festival, and to the most remote music festival in North America, apparently, the Rocking Walrus Festival in the high Arctic in Nunavut. So I want to hear more about that, Aaron, when we come back. The Rocking Walrus Festival, I can just picture it right now. In the meantime, we have got some video content to give you an introduction to JAFFA Road, so let's watch that now. Here's the video.
JAFFA Road is pure magic. The music is so enticing that you can't help but dance.
I love the fusion of sounds that they have. The great rock and dub mixed in with this wonderful jazz improvisation.
And they always fill the room with an enthusiastic and vibrant audience.
They are a world-class band. Recommend them to everybody who loves some very innovative music.
אקווה לראות גאולתך אלי שם הקולי כי יקרה עד מתי אקווה לראות גאולתך.
JAFFA Road named themselves after one of the oldest streets in Jerusalem, but while their music is informed by ancient music and words, it's also modern and forward-looking. Their debut CD titled Sun Place was nominated for a Juno Award for World Music Album of the Year and was featured on CBC Radio's Canada Live Show. JAFFA Road were recent winners of a John Lennon Songwriting Award, and they were also named Best World Music Artist at the Toronto Independent Music Awards.
I think this, playing with JAFFA Road more than any other band I've played with before, really, it's an amazing mixture of really disparate styles. Something new is created that is really unique.
It's so thrilling to get on stage with these four other amazing musicians who just bring the music to life. And it's so exciting to see how audiences respond to this music. Whether it's California or Brazil or Newfoundland or Nunavut, it is so gratifying to be part of that.
It was a truly tremendous show that showed how great musicianship can come together and create an evening of true intimacy, togetherness, and wonder.
Hey everyone, so excited to share our new album with you and cannot wait to be with you in person again to bring our music to your community.
Jaffa Road are an ensemble that are not to be missed.
And we're back after getting a sampling of the music and styles of Jaffa Road.
You guys,
it's a great sound you guys create, and an amazing mixture of stuff which we want to explore. So let's start talking about that, Aaron and Tamar. And you also have lined up some EPK slides for us to look at and giving some background on that. So Aaron, you talk about the sum being greater than the parts, and you have a wonderful lineup with singer Tamar Ilana, bassist Justin Gray, Sundar Viswanathan on sax, drummer Rakesh Tiwari, and yourself, band leader on oud and guitar. What is it that makes the sum greater than the parts?
So, well, I've got a little thing to show if we can throw to the slideshow here. So the five musicians are all incredible artists, performers, band leaders, composers, educators, and improvisers, all in their own right. We all do all of those things separately, and when we come together, it's just so exciting for me to do this stuff with these guys and Tamar, because it really is, the sum is truly greater than the parts. Are we seeing the slides? If I may, I can just give a little brief blurb about each of these incredible artists and musicians. I'll start with Tamar. Our current lead singer has spent a lifetime traveling and absorbing the music of the Mediterranean and North Africa since she was a very, very small child. That's a whole other story, and she does a great presentation about that music of my Mediterranean childhood. She's been performing this repertoire in many, many languages since she was 5 years old. In addition to her work as a musician, she's also a very accomplished flamenco dancer, singer, and teacher. She's a band leader in her own right of a wonderful Mediterranean folk music band called Ventanas, and she has just an incredible stage presence. So that's it, and that's her in a nutshell. And I'm playing the oud and guitar in composing and co-composing in the band, and sort of doing all the business of the band. I've been playing oud and guitar in many, many different styles, with a deep fascination of music of many different cultures for many years. I also have 20 years now experience in clinical practice as a music therapist and a music psychotherapist. Very proud of a recent project that I did with Justin Gray, where we produced 6 albums for an arts health organization, cross-cultural, intercultural, culturally specific relaxation music in collaboration with musicians from pretty much every continent.
Wow, that sounds. Can I get a copy of that, Aaron?
Yes. We should definitely get you a copy of it. Yes. Okay. We all need this at this time. And Justin and I have also worked together on a. We produced a song that won a Canadian Screen Award. It was used in the beautiful animated movie The Breadwinner a couple of years ago, which was nominated for an Oscar. Not our song, the movie. And I've been very successful with grant applications to support the activities of Jaffa Road. Our incredible jazz saxophone virtuoso, who many people in Canadian music community are aware of, is Sundar Viswanathan. In addition to being a jazz saxophone virtuoso, he has got considerable expertise in Indian music. He's an incredible vocalist also, and bansuri player, and an incredible band leader with a very sophisticated Indo-jazz group called Avatar. He's shared the stage with many luminaries of the music scene. He's a highly regarded music professor at York University in jazz performance, and he's well earned his band nickname, which is simply the Professor. And my producing partner, Justin Gray, incredible force on the Canadian music scene as a producer, a composer, a mastering engineer, a mixing engineer. He's got incredible expertise in Indian music, Middle Eastern music, jazz, R&B, and many forms. You can see him here with the instrument that he invented, the bass vina, which is an incredible instrument that allows him to maintain his technique and identity as a bass player while playing authentic classical Indian music. It's an incredible thing that he's got going there. He's also a music professor at Toronto's renowned Humber College. I mentioned the albums that we recently worked on together, and he's a band leader in his own right of some highly innovative groups, and he's worked as a producer and an engineer on many award-winning and Juno-nominated, CFMA-nominated albums. And Rakesh Tiwari, our percussionist, will be no stranger to people familiar with the Canadian music scene. He's a widely sought-after percussionist who, in many styles. You may have seen him with the African Guitar Summit. He was with Digging Roots for many years. He's currently with the Special Interest Group. He's worked with Tanya Tagaq, Debbie Young, one of the panelists from the other day, Lal, Aviva Chernik's group, our former lead singer, Kenny Starr, Toronto Tabla Ensemble. The list goes on and on. So that hopefully gives people a sense of who we are as individuals. And for me, it's just so exciting to hit the stage and hit the workshops and the collaborations with these folks, because there's just like such an incredible synergy with our diverse experiences and musical backgrounds and cultural backgrounds all coming.
It is a very impressive group, Aaron. I guess we'll talk more about it later, but one of the things that makes me, there's just so much experience and diversity packed into there that it must be an interesting balancing act at times. Maybe we can get into that later.
Sure, yeah. All right, should we hit the second video now?
We can, certainly. And we are back after another taste of the music of Jaffa Road, some wonderful sounds coming to you here on Global Toronto 2020. While we were watching that, Tamara Ilana reminded me that she was, her group Ventanas was a participant in the original 2018 version of Global Toronto, which was a humble trial balloon that we floated and had a handful of international presenters here in Toronto, something like 10 or so. And now, of course, we're so proud that GT has grown to the point where we have 400 people from around the world participating.
Bravo.
It's fantastic. Of course, we would like to have you all perhaps here in Toronto so we can share a drink with you, but maybe next time. Tamar, do you want to talk a little bit about what we saw there?
Yeah, sure. We saw, features on the artist that we just mentioned, and one of the songs that we do, Nigun, as well, that has some vocal improv. And also listening to it, it reminded me that the very first time actually that I sang with Jaffa Road, I was actually 15 or 16 at the Distillery Jazz Festival, and they asked me to do a vocal solo like on the spot, and I've sung my whole life on stage. Some of you know my mom, Dr. Judith Cohen, she's an ethnomusicologist, but I had never done like a full-on improv vocal solo, and it was Aaron, that brought me up. In the original configuration of the band, it was called Shakshuka way long time ago, and so to come full circle and have this presentation with me recording a vocal solo with them on the new album is it's just such an honor and such a pleasure. I'm so happy. And you've also heard in the previous, I'm just going to talk briefly on one of these songs here that you also listened to earlier, Eli Shemakoli, and it's both in Arabic and Hebrew. And it's a Judeo-Moroccan song, so from the Jews of Morocco. And I also grew up singing a lot with a Moroccan Jewish group called Geronaldo. So it's a lot of experience there, many years, my whole life singing this stuff. So it's just such a pleasure. And we also chose to mix both the Hebrew and the Arabic versions, for all the... And as far as we know, it's the first time that those two versions have been done together. And it's also something we really love doing. I mean, for all the obvious reasons, but just to reiterate, the fact of peace and bringing people together, especially in these times. And that's what we really want to focus on as one of the mandates of the group. So yeah, enjoy that. And I'll let Aaron take over for the next couple songs. Thanks.
You also heard a clip, a very brief clip of Ana Elna, which is a traditional Hebrew chant, prayer for healing, which I think there's a big appetite for at this time. This was co-written with Aviva Chernik and Michael Rennie, Aviva Chernik being our amazing longtime lead singer who's on to other projects, but she's, of course, a very important part of the history of the band and the first two albums. I point out this song also in part to demonstrate the range of the band's audiences, because we've been sent videos of children in dining halls at summer camps, full dining halls, singing this version of this song. And we've had 80-year-olds celebrate their birthdays at our concerts. So I like to just point that out, that there's a huge range of appeal of our music. You also heard us riff on Nigun. I didn't mean to play it, but I'll just go to the next slide. So Nigun is a wordless melody in the Jewish tradition. They're usually done a cappella, but not always. And the idea was, let's write a 21st century Nigun that brings together all of our different, or many, not all, many of our different musical interests.
Well, that's something I want to pick up on, Aaron, because with all those different musical interests, and certainly this combination of tradition and modernity, how do you come at a balance that's comfortable with those elements? I mean, do you come in and say, we're going to do a song that's going to combine these 5 elements and stack them up like building blocks, or is it more spontaneous, or how does it happen?
It happens in different ways. I mean, we have a lot of fun and a lot of interest as studio musicians. Like, what can we do, and what elements can we add? So, most of the songs start off as a fairly traditional sounding kind of acoustic kind of thing. But then, we kind of lose ourselves in our interest in music production and start adding all kinds of elements. And it's not really calculated. It's not, this needs something from culture X. It's like, I might dig up some ancient Hebrew poetry. I might write a melody with my voice and oud, make a demo, and then start adding layers. And I begin most of the composing. But I don't want to finish any of the composing because this group of musicians is so incredible that would be a foolish move on my part, because it just gets better when I send those demos and people say, no, change this, do that. And that's been the way that it's always worked with this group. So it's not so calculated, and it just sort of happens in an organic way. Everybody's brain is full of all kinds of inspirations and influences and so on.
Now that we're in pandemic mode for the last little while, what have you guys been doing to react to that? Are you working on new elements?
Well, we are really trying to finish a new album by the end of the summer. The 6-album mega project that Justin and I did over the last 18 months definitely stole some time from JAFFA Road, but it was totally worth it. We had our last recording session for that project the week before the shutdown, so we were very lucky in that regard. We're finishing our album. We're shooting some videos next month with the support of Factor, and planning how to best release that once we'll be done early September. And then the next step will be just figuring out how does one release music, and how does one make the most out of a release in these very challenging times. So don't know exactly when it will be out, but it's going to be done very, very soon. Sorry, Tamar, you're going to say something.
I just said that's an open-ended question, for the whole Global Toronto Conference. I think we can all talk about that and figure out the best plans for those kind of things. That's great.
Yeah.
All input, is good.
Well, hopefully it won't be too long before we can see you guys on stage with an audience around you and enjoying those wonderful grooves and wonderful elements that JAFFA Road presents. You have the contact info there for Aaron and JAFFA Road. So hopefully, I think you won some fans today, guys, and I look forward to hearing your new material, because everything you've been doing has been wonderful. So do keep it up. Aaron and Tamar, thank you so much for joining us at Artist Spotlight. And coming up next on GT20, there's a spotlight on Safe Muse. So you want to stay tuned for that. I'm Alan Davis. I'll be back again tomorrow. Enjoy Global Toronto 2020, Day 4.
Thanks so much to Alan and the whole team. You guys are doing an incredibly innovative and I'm sure difficult job here. So it's much appreciated by this entire community.
Thanks, guys.